Aloha, this is your one-star platinum, Mrs. Nina Mitchell. One-star platinum with Evolution Travel, which is under the umbrella of Evolution Enterprises. And today we are going to specifically talk about how to book a group cruise. So we'll go over everything slowly and then we'll answer some questions at the end. If you've got any questions, please type them in the chat box and we will do the Q&A then. So this is Carnival Cruise Line's website for travel agents, which is goccl.com. If you have not requested a login with Carnival, make sure that you go through your back office, access the Travel Cafe, click on Cruises, and go to Carnival and read the information on how to register with Carnival. Complete that and allow 24 to 48 business hours to get your login. Okay, specifically for group cruises, since we are creating a booking, you want to click on Create a Booking, and this is for groups, so we are going to click Group Bookings. I strongly encourage every agent to become a Carnival expert. You'll learn about their ships, learn about how to use their booking engine, and all things relative to Carnival Cruise Line. And you can do that by starting their training here. So we are going to click Group Bookings. And let's say you're generally looking for a group. You do not have a specific group that you are targeting. You just want to select some space and then find someone to market this group to at a later date. I always suggest booking the cruise a year in advance. People like to have more time to pay for it, unless you're looking at maybe a 3-day cruise from the Bahamas, which tend to be relatively inexpensive. And for that, I'd say give it about 6 months. But let's look a year in advance. So we are going to go to December of 2020. Oops. We want to search the entire month. Group type. Now, in order to learn the different types, the affinity group, holiday sailings, and Oprah promotion, you definitely want to take the Carnival training. But for the sake of this webinar, we're going to select Open promotion. You can select a ship if you are familiar with the ships, or you can select a destination. For the sake of this webinar, let's select the Caribbean. The Caribbean tends to be the more requested groups for Carnival in particular. Let's choose 2 to 5 days. Now, selecting a port isn't mandatory. You do not see a red star or asterisk by departure port, so you don't have to fill that in or select one, but you can. I'm going to leave it open so that you guys can see everything that is available. Here, where it says Fun Points and Amenities. With the Fun Points, you can actually gift your clients something, and I'll show you what those are. But this is the area where you can shine as a travel consultant. So we're going to choose the ships that the sailings that only have Fun Points. If we choose all sailings, it's going to give us some sailings that don't offer that. But you want to be able to give your clients something, an incentive for booking with you, because that keeps them coming back time after time, okay? And then we're going to search. Okay, so these are our choices. The name of the ship is listed here in this first section. The name of the destination, it's in the second section. The sail date is here in the third section. Now, this means the day that the ship actually leaves the dock. This is the duration of the ship. And we're going to talk a little in detail about the duration because many newer agents kind of get confused with the end date of the ship. They'll count the 4 days, but not the day that the ship comes back to port. So we'll talk about that. This is where the ship will depart from. And there are different areas. This here where it says groups booked, where you see no, that doesn't mean that you cannot book any groups. It just means that no groups have been booked on this particular sailing yet. We do have a limited amount of groups that can be booked in our agency at one time. So unless it's a specific cruise that you're looking for, like a cruise that is going through Super Bowl time or Valentine's Day or Christmas, unless you're looking for something specific, try to choose the sailings that do not have a group. You have a little more flexibility, okay? Average lead rate. Now, this is going to be genuinely the lowest fare that is offered for that particular cruise without the taxes and fees involved. So this is the base rate. So for the sake of this, let's choose this first one, which is on the Carnival Conquest. It's Western Caribbean. So let's say you don't know what Western Caribbean is. You click here, and it will tell you. We start on a Monday in Miami. It even tells you what time, 3:30 p.m. This is what time the ship will leave. Not what time they have to be at the port to get on the ship. This is what time it leaves. It tells you on Tuesday, they'll be in Key West, arriving at 7:30 a.m. They will depart from Key West at 1:30 p.m. And each time will be in the time of the place that they are docked in. So this would be time in Key West. This would be the actual time in Miami. On Wednesday, they will dock in Cozumel, Mexico, arriving at 12 o'clock p.m. Departing from Cozumel at 8 o'clock p.m. Thursday, they will be at sea the whole day. Friday, they will actually arrive back into Miami at 8 a.m. And remember I said we will talk about the duration because most people kind of mess this up a little bit when they're new agents. You see where it says 4 days? 1, 2, 3, 4. Most people miss this day. It is not a full day. The ship is docking at 8 a.m. But you have to count this so that you know when to let your clients know they will be back at port. Most likely you will be booking their air and hotel for pre and post cruise. So you need to know too when to book their air for them to return back to their home state. Always count the day that they are returning to their port, okay? They will be departing from Miami, Florida. This ship will give us amenities, the Fun Points, and the average lead rate is $214. So let's select this sailing. So you want to make sure that your name is listed there. The number that you see on top is the number to Archer Travel Service, agency phone number. So do not panic if you see a number there that's not yours. That's supposed to be the agency's phone number. You want to name your group. I'm going to name this Test. But if this is for a high school reunion, you name it there. If it's for somebody's birthday, you name it that. And then here is where you could put your own phone number. Make sure that it is a phone number that you use for your business. I highly suggest securing a different phone number so that you keep your private number private. If you do not want to pay for a phone service, Google Voice is actually free. And those numbers will ring through to the phone number that you put in the system. So you can actually have a Google Voice number and it'll ring through to your private cell phone. And you'll know that those calls are from Google Voice because it will display the number that's coming in. Okay. So if you notice, interior is mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Now, it's because these are cabins that are located in different sections of the ship, and they will come at different prices. If you want to know anything, if it's a live link, click on it. Read literally everything. It's telling me my phone number is invalid because it probably won't accept a toll-free number. Why is it telling me invalid? Okay, we'll just take it out altogether and try it later. Excuse me. We'll keep it moving. So let's select 4 interior cabins just for the test. Now here, where it says total, max, requested, allowed, for this particular sailing, you can only request as many as 50 cabins. Make sure that you read the details at the bottom because these are things that people will ask you. Single guest, how much is it for a single cabin, for one person to occupy a cabin? It is not half the amount for the full cabin. Here it says this is the average lead rate that is based on double. It's a double rate, so this is based on 2 people being in the cabin. Single guests are required to pay 200% of the deposit amount. The system will recalculate the deposit amount required during any occupancy. Make sure you read everything else down here. It tells you very good details that you'll need. The average cruise rate based on occupancy include non-commissionable fare. Cruise fees are additional for all guests. Comp policy applicable to full fare guests only. So that means if most of the time our group cruises will allow you to book so many, then you get one for free. The comps only count on the 2 lead in the room, not for the triple or the quad. That's for 3 people in the cabin, 4 people in the cabin. And to actually be able to book triples and quads, you would have to call Carnival directly. When we are selecting cabins, we are selecting cabins based on double occupancy. So let's select 4 interior. Let's select 4 ocean view. And let's select 4 balcony. Here is some very important information. Payment date and deposit amount. Deposits are due on February the 28th. $25 each person. Once you book a cabin, in order for you to berth the cabin, you have to have the deposit for both people in the cabin. You will be adding this $49 if you are providing them with Carnival's vacation protection. I always add the insurance and I let the client tell me that they don't want it, just to keep them covered, because people will cancel and they believe that if they cancel before it's time to go, that they can automatically get their money back. They can get their deposit back. And many times they cannot. Comp policy, we just talked about it. You get 1 free cabin for every 15 sold. That's what this means. 1 free cabin, 15 sold. This is the rate code, PGY. And this means that we'll get fun points. And we'll get 4 of them. So let's talk about the fun points really quickly before we go further. And you always want to check this to make sure it's the initial information that you looked at. This is the Carnival Conquest. The sailing date is November 30th, 2020. It's for 4 days. Western Caribbean, departing from Miami, returning to Miami. Let's click on Fun Points. So you can get a visual of what that looks like. Okay, so this is group fun points and flexi pricing. I always suggest saving this information on your computer or printing it out. Make sure that you read everything. Carnival Fun Points allow you to combine our preferred group rates with the amenities that you need to make your program work, or to take advantage of an even lower rate without amenities. Fun Points allow you the flexibility to choose the price and amenities that fit your needs. Here's how it works. So make sure that you read all of this. Here's an example. Make sure that you go back and read that. But here are the hard details. Carnival Fun Points, you choose your points, choose your price. Each sailing has a certain amount of fun points that are offered based on how long the sailing is, okay? If you have a sailing of 3 days and you have a minimum of 5 cabins booked, you can use your fun points to give your clients a Bon Voyage champagne bottle and chocolates. And it'll take 3 points for you to do that. The longer the sailing, the less points it takes for the amenity. You can do a shared cocktail party with a maximum of 50 rooms, but a minimum of 8. For a 3-day cruise, it's only 1 point. For all of them, it's only 1 point. This would be awesome for a family reunion, a high school reunion, a girls' trip, because it gives them an opportunity to all get together, especially if they're not staying in one cabin or a suite. They can all get together, have a meet and greet, and then they can meet other people who are on the ship as well, who have secured that shared cocktail party. Many different things that you can offer. You can offer onboard credit per stateroom, minimum of 5 cabins, how many points it's going to take to secure this. Now here, where it says upgrades, you can actually offer upgrades for a certain amount of points. 1 category interior, ocean view or balcony. Now what this means, because I kind of got caught up in this when I first started booking cruises, I naturally thought that the upgrade meant from interior to ocean view or ocean view to balcony. That's not what it means. Remember on that very first screen where we saw all of the bookings and we saw 5 or 6 different categories for interior, 5 or 6 different categories for ocean view and balcony? It's because for each category that goes up, and you saw that the price increased, it increased because it's based on where that particular cabin is located in that same area. The different portions of the ship are considered to be of different importance. Most people like to be placed in the middle of the ship because it's the most stationary. So the closer you get to the middle of the ship, the higher the cost is, or the higher the category is. So when they're talking about 1 category interior, it means you would go from a 4B to a 4C. From a 4C to a 4D, you'll go up in those categories, not up in cabin type. So be careful with that. Right here, it actually says it. Based on inventory availability, assigned with names and full deposit, 1 per group only applies within category, i.e. interior to interior. Make sure that you read everything. Upfront stateroom, agent stateroom. You have to have at least 17 cabins and you use 2 points on it. I'll let Carnival explain that to you because it's a little more detailed than what we can go into, but it's actually a good amenity to have. Again, make sure that you read all of the details, but this is the explanation of Fun Points and what you can use them for. Quite a few different ones. And it can make you look like a superstar. Okay, so we have our requested staterooms. To go back a step, if you are going to sell triples, this is the price, the base price without the taxes and fees. If you're going to sell a quad, this is the price for that as well. And 5 people in the cabin are not allowed. Before you commit to selling triples and quads, make sure that you have done a virtual tour to look at the cabin. Unless it's a balcony, cabins will be pretty heavily occupied. It's a small amount of space and an ocean view and an interior. And some balconies are pretty small too. So I kind of would stay away from booking 4 adult people in any of these cabins, to be perfectly honest. I would keep that for suites. And suites, you have to request those separately. You cannot book those as a part of the group. So let's save and continue. And just like that, your space has been reserved. This is our rate code. This is how many interiors we have, 4 A's. We've got 6 A's, and we've got 8 A's for balcony, ocean view, interior, and we've got 4 of each. 12 cabins total. Double average cruise rates, $344 a person, plus the $99. $244 a person, plus the $99, $214 a person, plus the $99. Commission is 16% on each one. Before you say that you have read and you agree to it, make sure that you read the guidelines and the terms and conditions. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You need to know this information. This does not include air, transfers, gratuities, or anything else, or the vacation plan, because that will be separate. This is just the base fare and the taxes. So for the sake of this, I'm going to say, yes, we read it, but you are going to commit to reading the marketing guidelines and the terms and conditions. Okay, so we are confirming this booking. Make sure that you keep your group booking number, C90CQ1. And if you do not know the phonetic alphabet, take time and learn it. If you're going to be a travel professional and you're calling over the phone to talk to other travel professionals, you want to be able to communicate in the lingo that they communicate. So in the phonetic alphabet, if I was calling over the phone to talk to Carnival and I was asking for assistance with this group booking, I would greet the person that I'm talking to on the line and say, hi, my name is Mrs. Nina Mitchell. I'm a travel agent with Archer Travel Services Incorporated. Our agency phone number is 818-248-9141. And my group booking is Charlie 90 Charlie, Quebec, #1. And you can find the phonetic, P-H-E, phonetic alphabet on Google. Google phonetic alphabet. It's how we use words to identify letters that often sound the same, like D and B. If you're speaking really fast and you're over the phone, you want to say Delta instead of D. You want to say Bravo instead of B, so that the person that you're speaking to can service you relatively quickly. Okay, so here it tells us that our amenity points, we haven't selected any yet, and that for this group we get 4, and we must assign them by September 16th, 2020. So that means we have to choose which amenities we are going to give our group, okay? Become familiar with this information down here. You will click here to make payments, click here to modify the booking, click here to cancel the group booking, and you can cancel with no penalty right now. Reports and your contract will be here, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Once you start to birth your cabins, meaning to open the cabins and assign names to them, you'll be able to click the guest list here and see it. And everything you do is recorded in the history, okay? So let's go to reports. We want to do a statement of group requests. And here's your contract. Make sure that it has the correct information. This should have your name, but Archer Travel's information. This should not have your home address. Your booking number should be there, the sailing that you have, the date that it sails, and what type of group it is. Read your contract. If you do not understand it, call Carnival. They will go over it with you. Important, unless we hear from you within 10 days of this statement, you agree to accept the rates, terms, and conditions outlined herein. Please review all pages of this statement for booking, policies, policy terms, and conditions. Make sure that you read everything. I highly suggest, if you've never booked a Carnival group cruise before, secure your space and call them over the phone and have them to go over the contract with you. Or you can actually call Carnival. They will book the space for you. They will tell you what the best rate is at that moment. They will secure the cabins for you and email you your contract. My very first group cruise was done by Carnival, and they read the contract to me. They held my hand with it and really stayed on the phone with me until I understood it. Everything you need is in this contract. If you want to know if your clients will need passports, it will explain right here what you need, why you need it, and who would need it. Marketing and group rates, you want to read that. Minors in the groups, published fares. If you have physical payments to send, groups reaching 250 staterooms or more at any time, they have to book a different kind of way. Here is your itinerary. Here is your rate code, the description of your group. And in order to keep this rate code, you have to have 8 cabins or more. If you go beneath the 8 cabins, the price may change. That's something that you need to be aware of. Here are the cabins that we secured here. The average rate is here for a single. The average rate for a double is here. And you notice there's no pricings for triples and quads because you have to call to get that information. The non-commissionable fare is here. The taxes, fees, fuel surcharges, and everything else are here. The commission rate is 16%. So this amount and this amount is actually added to this amount here. Uh-oh, give me just a minute saying that my screen froze. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, somebody text me and let me know that you can see the contract. We are at cabin requests. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so again, I don't know where it froze, I'm sorry guys. These are the categories. We have 8As, 6As, and 4As for balcony, ocean view, and interior. This is our rate code, 1PGY. This is the average amount, and average means that it's not exact. But this is the average amount for a single person in the cabin. This is the average amount for each person occupying a cabin for 2. And there's no rate here for triple or quad because you have to call in to get those. The non-commissionable fare will be added. The port taxes and fees will be added as well. So these amounts are in totals here. The 99, the $917.12, that's actually for 8 people. So if you want to know how much it is for each person to add to this, you'll need to divide it by the 8 guests. Again, I did not understand that, so I called Carnival and I let them do the heavy lifting and then explain it to me. Make sure that you call and get assistance. Do not hesitate to do that. It's reiterated here that rates quoted as an average per person are based on number of travelers per cabin. Single occupancy is available at 200% of the double rate for all categories. Please note, to calculate the single fare, you must first combine the cruise fare, that's this, and the non-commissionable fare. So you have to add this to this, and then you're going to add in the port taxes and fees and all of that. Triple, quad, and quints. Okay, thank you. May require the use of a rollaway or a trundle bed. Keep that in mind. You don't want to have your clients piled on top of each other if these are adults. For breakdown of per guest taxes and fees, see additional charges required section. The vacation protection program is optional, but strongly recommended. Even they do too. Add the insurance and let the client tell you not to. And once they do that, or if they do that, have them to sign a waiver. Detailed cruise rate per person. Here's how much it will cost per person. And again, these are the averages without the fees added in, okay? This is very, very important to understand. The deposit is $25 per person. The deposits are due in February the 28th. Always allow yourself a cushion. Do not communicate to your clients that the payments are due February the 28th. I would tell them February the 21st, just in case you have some people who pay late, and to allow yourself time to process the payments. August the 3rd, where it says $150 is due per person, that means that because they are counting the entire cruise that you have secured. So for all cabins, they're expecting $600 by February the 28th total. For any cabin that has not been secured by then, or if that money is not in the base to cover the entire cruise in fun ship pay, they will cancel some spaces, if not the entire cruise. By August the 3rd, they expect for $3,600 to be paid toward your entire booking. The cabins that have not been secured by that time will be released. By September 16, 2020, the cruise has got to be paid in full by then. What we usually do is make a more structured payment plan for the clients. They like structure. So anytime after February the 28th, or even before, you can divide those payments equally so that they're paying monthly, and submit them as you get them to Carnival, even if they're not due to Carnival. I say it's better to stay ahead of the curve than to be right at it, because things happen with people's payments, situations happen. It's better to be in front of the curve. So you can take the total cost for whatever that cabin category is, divide it by the number of months that they are paying, and require a payment every month, okay? Keep it in mind, single guests are required to pay $200% of the deposit amount. So you want to include that when you're advertising. You want the clients to contact you for pricing on single cabins, but let them know upfront that single cabins are available with a higher deposit and a higher cost per cabin. This is the cancellation guideline. This is important for you to be aware. If a person cancels by September 2020, they actually would receive $150 back. If they cancel by October 7th, they're penalized 50%. I'm sorry, they are penalized $150 if they cancel by September 17th, 2020. If they cancel by October 7th, 2020, they are penalized 50%. If they cancel by November 2nd, 75%. By sale date, full penalty. Even if they have insurance, they have to cancel before date of sailing, and it has to be for specific reasons. Again, read everything. We have requested 12 cabins, 24 people will receive one cruise, complimentary cruise based on the average cruise rates, one berth for 15 full fares. The optional vacation plan is detailed here, how much it will cost. And here are the miscellaneous charges. Tax, fees, and port expenses for 24 people is $101 per guest. You're going to add this 101 to the base fare that we saw above. Customs fees, that $5 is going to be added to the base fare. Animal, plant, and health fee is $1.75. Immigration tax, $3. International, excuse me, cruise only tax is $3. So you're going to add these amounts up and add them to the base fare. Again, if you are unsure about any of that, call Carnival and ask them to explain it to you. Transfers from the airport to the cruise port are available, but they are not included in the fare. So a ground transfer round trip from the Miami airport is $16.99 per person. From the Fort Lauderdale airport is $31.99. The transfers are only applicable for the day of the sailing. That is important for you to know. If you are going to sell them through Carnival, they will only arrange drop off and pick up on the day that they are arriving, that the cruise is leaving out to sea, and the day that they are coming back from sea and going to the airport. They do not drop off at hotels, and they cannot be prearranged. They can't arrive the day before and be taken to their hotel. It is from the airport to the cruise port, from the cruise port to the airport, the day of sailings. This is very important as well. Make sure that you read everything. The amount of full fare guests, how much they'll end up paying is here. Your commission amount is listed here. This is going to be really important. As you call and add air, which you can do, once your clients have put a deposit down on their cabin, you can actually sell them air. The taxes, fees, and port expenses for the air is going to be listed here, so this amount will change. Anything additional that you've requested will be put here. And finally, the final price of the entire cruise is here. This net amount is this minus this. This is your commission. I know that's a lot of information, but Carnival will be happy to explain every single thing to you if you give them a call. Again, my very first cruise was booked with Carnival, and they answered all of the questions for me. The number for Carnival is actually at the top of each contract and at the top of the website too. So I hope this brief overview was helpful. And I'm going to end the recording now so I can answer any questions. The recording will be made available to you after it has been edited. Thank you for your time. This is your 1-star platinum master travel agent trainer, Mrs. Nina Mitchell.